appreciate very much you kind of make an exception to bring this back to through the subcommittee process and then bring it from there to the full committee. This has to do with the permitting of the use of ethylene oxide, and ethylene oxide is used in many different ways. Things we think about, or we don't really think about it, but things we use or exposed to every day. Polyester fibers for upholstery, carpet, pillows, and clothing. Automotive brake fluid, safety glass, seating, household and industrial cleaners, pharmaceuticals and ointments. Cosmetics and shampoos, sterilization of medical devices, bandages and food, and I think the list pretty much goes on. And what this is about is it makes a couple of changes as far as the permitting process for EPD for the use of this ethylene oxide, and also adds some very significant provisions for transparency to the public. And here again on line 12 and 13, the definition of what a spill or release is referenced there, and I went through it before, but I'd be glad to do it again if you want me to. And then on lines 24 through 28, there is a new requirement for the notification to EPD of a spill or release, and as a condition of a permit for operations that include the emission of ethylene oxide, any spill or release of ethylene oxide, regardless of the amount, shall be reported to the division in writing within 24 hours of discovering such spill or release. Any person who violates such reporting requirement shall be subject to penalties under Article 1 of this chapter. And then significant change from what we originally brought to subcommittee the other day. Well, that was a change too, but more precise language. And then on in section 2, line 32 through 35, the director shall make publicly available on the division's website information regarding any spill or release of ethylene oxide reported to the division pursuant to paragraph 3 of subsection A of code section 1297, and that's just referring back to page 1 and the reporting that's required to EPD, and that pretty much covers it. And here again, as I said in subcommittee, it's an important issue to the, and this is used not just in one facility, but there are different facilities in the state that actually use ethylene oxide. It's not, they don't all do it for the same purpose. There is one in Smyrna that I'm somewhat familiar with. They use it to sterilize medical equipment. And as I said the other day in subcommittee, in this time of this virus, it's a danger to the world. It's more important. I understand that there's actually there's a tremendous demand on the sterilized medical equipment right now, and some is actually being shipped. This has nothing necessarily to do with the facilities here in Georgia, but it may or may not. I just don't know. But a lot of this equipment, sterilized equipment, is being shipped overseas. As a lot of these other countries have a much greater impact by this coronavirus than we've had, and I hope that we don't have. But there's a tremendous demand for it. I will give you this one little thing. Sterigenics, which is in Smyrna, sterilized before they had to suspend operations. So they sterilized 35,000 protective gowns per day and more than 600,000 IV tubing sets per day. And I think that's pretty significant. So it's an important issue, and I'll be glad to try to answer any questions. But this actually addresses this language right here, and I guess I want to make sure we're looking at the same thing. This is LC 450477S, but this does address all the questions that I have heard or anything that was brought to me.
Thank you. This is the proper time for members of the full committee to ask questions. Number 2, please state your name.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Don, thank you. I'm fine with this. I think the companies are pretty much doing it anyhow. But my question that I've asked 100 people and nobody has been able to give me an answer is, what are we going to replace this with if we get in such trouble and I understand the local people's concern about the releases, but it's my understanding there's nothing as efficient as this, as ethylene oxide out there to do the sterilization. And like you said, with the news media hype on coronavirus, is there something out there other than EO to replace the sterilization with?
It's a good question. I could ask. I don't know. I don't believe that there is. I mean, to try to answer your question, I don't believe that there is. In fact, I'm as sure as I can be that there's not anything to replace it at this time.
Thank you. Yes.
What are we gonna do if we shut these industries down over a release?
Yeah.
I mean, what's Grady gonna do?
Well, I mean, this won't shut them down. I mean, this has to do with reporting. I mean, and I think that is significant, and it is important that these releases be reported to the EPD. I mean, this is not going to shut them down. If they're in violation of this code, then there are problems, and they need to be addressed. But I don't think that this is going to shut anybody down. Yeah. I have to ask somebody who knows more about the whole process.
Thank you. We have a job for you when you retire now. You get to go ask your question till you get the answer. Are there any other questions? At the proper time, I'll entertain a motion. Second, okay. And then number 22.
This probably falls under further discussion, but I really appreciate everyone coming to the table on this to protect Georgians. I think this turned out a very bipartisan piece of legislation to protect air quality in our state, and I'm grateful to everyone and keeping a calm demeanor as we deliberately move forward on this piece of legislation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? I have a motion and a second. No further discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Sir, you have your bill. Don't forget rules. If the committee will stay put for just a minute.
Thank you.
Thank you. So a lot of the issues we deal with in this committee are technical, scientific, lawyerly. They fall into certain code sections. Putting a word here messes everything else up. So our committee deals with very complex, difficult things, which is why we try and follow a methodical, careful process in our subcommittees so we can better understand the issues. And we also try to make sure our legislators have the information they need before them so that they can make a decision. And that is one reason why when I was needed elsewhere this year, I felt very comfortable and did not worry about our committee members and the leadership of our committee. I knew that we would find a way to solve our problems. And so this year, this committee has addressed what to me are not partisan issues, but quality of life issues. And we've done it in such a way that I think we all can take credit for these pieces of legislation that we passed. Chairman Barr did the correct thing, and one presentation is that he did not have printed information on that. But that didn't mean the process stopped. Might have gotten a little bit more complex, but the solution was the solution we were all seeking. And so if you have a moment, take a second and pat yourselves on the back, because a lot is required of you to serve on this committee, and I appreciate the willingness of this committee to come together. I said something to the House to thank people for the sympathy that they extended to me and my family when my husband died. And I made the comment, and a friend of mine said they love my geeky, quirky sense of humor observations, and so they called this a geeky one. So I want to just point it out to you again as to how something can work. And I liked geometry in high school. I could memorize the theorems, and then guess what? It applies and has logic to how to solve a problem. But one that always stuck with me was and I'm rephrasing here, but the whole is greater than the sum of all of its parts. And someone said, well, what in the world does that mean? And I was trying to think later. The best example I could come up with, if you listen to a symphony orchestra or if you listen to a popular music, these are all different instruments and different parts, and they don't work until they create a whole. and that whole works together. So I just want to end this by saying y'all make great music. So thank you.